Okay, now that I got the joke review out of the way, I want to actually do a real official review. This time, I'm going to review Higurashi no naku koro. Higurashi is a very hard series to review without spoiling anything, because almost anything I can tell you about the plot is going to spoil it for you. Basically, just know that it's about a village, a very mysterious village is the setting, and these groups of kids, Keiichi, Rika, Mion, Satoko, and Reina, are involved in a bunch of serial murders, and the whole village blames it on some mysterious curse, and it's up to us as the viewers to view the series and try to piece together clues to figure out the actual truth of what's going on behind the murders. It's a very complicated series that relies heavily on plot. The major drawback to that is that you will not understand what's going on for the whole season. The whole first season is 2 season long anime, and the whole first season is just a long, winding spiral of confusion that answers very little questions, and only really by the end of the series you have 20 times more questions than when you started the series. Higurashi has a number of different phases that it goes through. It starts off as a cute anime, and quickly becomes very dark. It's one of the darker animes. Definitely, watching at night is the best for me because I really like watching scary things at night. But it is one of those anime that creeps you out, and it will. It's the closest thing I've ever watched to like a horror suspense in anime form. It's definitely a horror suspense, like psychological thriller type of anime. The major point, though, that I want to get out of the way is that it's very violent. And if violence turns you off, then I wouldn't recommend it. But really, in truth, it's more violent in concept than execution. Because if you watch the censored version, it's not really that bad. And even the uncensored version, except for one arc, and anybody who's seen Higurashi knows what arc I'm talking about, it's very, the violence isn't all that crazy. I can name a lot more violent anime out there. But the tortures that people go through and whatnot is very violent in concept. I would say that to watch Higurashi, you have to have a good stomach for murder mystery, and you have to have a strong brain. Because you're going to be asking a lot of questions that won't be answered. And even in Season 2, which is the season that answers all the questions, it's not directly answering anything much. It directly answers some questions, but most questions are inferred answers. You have to actually piece together clues, and that's what I love about Higurashi. The perspective changes depending on the arc. The majority of Season 1 focuses on Keiichi and his perspective, while the majority of Season 2 focuses on Rika and her perspective. But really, all the characters get their turn, and the story's told from all different perspectives, and you have to find out the objective truth from all of their subjective truths in what they see, and everything you see can't be trusted. You have to kind of piece together little clues, similarities between the arcs, and just find out for yourself. But like I said, it's very confusing. You probably won't understand it until someone explains it to you. Because chances are, even when I finished the first 2 seasons, I was still asking questions, and I had to have people like explain it to me. And to this day, I don't understand everything about Higurashi, but I know most of it, so I'm fine. So it also, the genre between Season 1 and 2 is a huge shift, and it turns many people off. Season 1 is very focused on, just suspense and thriller with a lot of gore, a lot of violence, and just all around craziness. That just one of those anime that just makes you like look behind your shoulder and like kind of creep you out. But Season 2 is heavily, there's almost no action. There is some violence, but compared to Season 1, it's non-existent. And very, it's mellow. It's mostly talk. It's heavy on talking and explaining and character development and plot development. That's why they're referred to as the answer arcs, while Season 1 is referred to the question arcs. The answer arcs are very mellow and calm, and they don't really, it's a huge shift, and most people get turned off by that because it changes from constant killing and murder and violence and action to just talking and plot revelations. And you have to be really into the plot to like season 2. You can't watch Higurashi for the violence or for the shock factor because it's not going to continue. That's not its focus. Higurashi is heavily focused on the plot and the characters that bring out the plot, which are characterized throughout season 2, and the characters really bring the plot to life. It has a great cast of characters. They're all my favorite is Rika. I don't know, most people really like Rika, but she's definitely my favorite, and it's a really colorful cast of characters that aren't really stereotypical. That they're not huge archetypes that you find everywhere. So you have to really like the characters, and you have to really like the plot a lot because it's very confusing. You'll probably drop it if it hurts your brain. So I would say if you're watching it, try to solve it, but don't try too hard. Just watch it for watching it. Don't go crazy with it. Don't try to marathon it either. It's not a show that can be marathon. And I'd say watch an arc a day. Don't try to watch a whole season in a day. That's just you're gonna not get anywhere, and it's gonna end up being more confusing for you. You have to watch an arc, let it soak in, think about it, and then go. It's definitely one of my favorite animes of all time because it's just so well done. It's really, really well done. It covers all the genres it does pretty good. It's great suspense, it's a great thriller, it's a great mystery. Everything comes together at the end and makes sense. So, definitely give it a watch if you haven't already. It's pretty popular around anime circles, so I'm pretty sure most people have seen it. But I definitely rate this one really, really high on my list. Probably a top 10. Because it was really there for me. There are other psychological horrors and thrillers and stuff, but really nothing really compares too good to Higurashi. I know not a lot of people say Elfen Lied is like Higurashi, when not really. Higurashi is like in its own category. I can compare Umi Neko no Naku Koro, which I'm going to review after the season is done. I can compare that to Higurashi, but then again, it's part of the same series, and even then, I still prefer Higurashi a lot more. So check it out. It's a great anime. Prepare to be confused, prepare to be creeped out, and then prepare to not understand anything. And then suddenly just understand everything. It's really confusing to explain the anime. But definitely check it out. 5 out of 5. Whatever. Everybody needs to watch Higurashi at least once in their life. Next time I'll probably be reviewing Darker Than Black, or just give a general random review of everything I've seen this season. So, look forward to next time.